What happens when a young lady risks everything, her family, her social standing, even her inheritance, to convert from Protestantism to Catholicism? This conversion wasn't just a personal decision, it was a political powder keg that could spark diplomatic incidents.
I'm your host, Adrian Fonseca. Subscribe for new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Today I want to share the admirable story of La Margaretta, whose brave conversion and Don Bosco's role in the religious struggles of Turin reveal how the battle for souls was fought in a time maybe not so different from our own. Don Bosco and Archbishop Fransoni lived in a world growing ever more hostile to Catholicism. They stood as defenders of the faith against what they recognized as a coordinated Protestant takeover of charitable institutions across Turin. This fascinating chapter in Don Bosco's life shows his strategic importance in safeguarding the Catholic faith during rapidly changing times. And if you find this story inspiring, please share it with a friend who might appreciate these often overlooked aspects of Catholic history. As we explore this story together, keep these key themes in mind. The incredible courage needed to convert to Catholicism when coming from a Protestant family. How Don Bosco recognized and countered Protestant influence in charitable works, and the network of influential Catholics that Don Bosco cultivated to protect the faith. And a question to reflect on. In a world where religious differences are increasingly downplayed, how can we apply Don Bosco's wisdom to defend truth while still doing works of charity? This conversion story took place in Turin back when the king and the archbishop were still on good terms. You see, the Dutch ambassador to the court of Savoy had a young daughter. Since she was from Holland, she was raised a Protestant. When she decided she wanted to become a Catholic, her family and friends were totally against it. This young lady, nicknamed La Margherita, ran away from her father's house and found shelter in a convent where she'd be legally protected from being forcibly removed. Her father wasn't going to give up easily, however. With support from Prussian and English ministers, he demanded his daughter return home and to their false religion. But a close friend of Don Bosco, Bishop Fransoni, responded, quote, "The natural right to embrace the true religion is superior to that of paternal authority. The daughter will be at full liberty to leave the asylum which she had freely chosen. I will allow her father, or a person appointed by him, to question the girl to ensure her mind has not changed. But I would never do her the insult of allowing her to be expelled." You see, the convent was protected by ecclesiastical immunity, constituting a right that's superior to diplomatic privileges, and not being able to do violence to the will of the daughter because she was a foreigner. Despite protests from the Protestant diplomats, the young lady rejected Luther and Calvin's errors at the archbishop's feet. Because of her sweet character and her new faith, La Margaretta eventually reconciled with her family while remaining a devoted Catholic. But as life in this valley of tears is a mixture of joy and sorrows, there were growing concerns in Turin. Bishop Fransoni and Don Bosco had noticed something alarming. Protestant heretics were taking over what had previously been Catholic charitable works throughout the city. They committed to fighting these religious errors wherever they appeared. Heretics were especially focused on public schools, evening classes, Sunday schools, and homeless shelters. These might sound like good things that everyone should support without question. But here was the real problem. These works of philanthropy, not true Christian charity, were helping people just for the sake of helping people. While useful and maybe honest, they weren't following the gospel, which teaches that only those who help the poor for Jesus Christ's sake will have Christ himself as their eternal reward. This missing Christian spirit put Don Bosco on high alert. He saw that under the guise of helping people, these philanthropists were actually undermining the Catholic faith. For example, in Tuscany, new kindergartens were started supposedly for humanitarian reasons. In Pisa, a Protestant named Matilde Calandrini ran these schools and even conducted Protestant worship right in the classroom. She attracted other heretics, unbelievers, and self-proclaimed philosophers who were indifferent to religion. One of these was the infamous abbot Ferrante a Porti, who brought Protestant educational methods from Scotland to Italy. They pushed this new Protestant way of teaching children, even though a successful Catholic kindergarten had already existed in Turin since 1825. The situation was so concerning that the Holy Father Pope Gregory XVI had banned these Protestant kindergartens in 1839 in his letter to the bishops of the Papal States. The war was on. Our Lady placed her chess pieces in a way that Don Bosco frequently visited the Archbishop's residence, and on these occasions, he became acquainted with many Catholics, both religious and laity, who were influential in the city of Turin. He also had close relations with the Jesuit fathers Bresciani and Felici. Among the laity, several nobles became close to Don Bosco, including Count della Mota and Count Clemente Solaro. Even Count Barbaro came to him for advice. Nearly all the canons of the cathedral confessed to either Don Bosco or Don Confasso weekly. Many nobles did too, including Margheretta, our convert, and several influential women of the city. The Duchess of Montmorency trusted Don Bosco not just with spiritual matters, but also with household decisions, and later even made generous donations to his boys' oratory. These influential people, and many others throughout Turin, became Don Bosco's friends and saw him as a man truly devoted to God. Through his ardent love of the one true church, Don Bosco gently guided and directed these good souls to see the errors of Protestant philanthropy. In so doing, he was able to keep the spread of its false doctrines to a minimum in the city of Turin. If you found La Margaretta's conversion story and Don Bosco's defense of the Catholic faith inspiring, please share this video with someone who'd appreciate learning about this often overlooked part of Don Bosco's work. Hit the like button if you enjoy these deeper historical stories about Don Bosco. Subscribe so you don't miss future episodes, and most importantly, share this video with friends and family, or maybe in Catholic discussion groups where it might spark good conversation. Do you think Don Bosco was right to distinguish between true Christian charity and mere philanthropy? Let me know in the comment section down below. I read as many comments as I can and would love to hear your thoughts on this very important distinction. The story of La Margaretta and Don Bosco's response to Protestant influence in Turin offers us valuable lessons for today. In our time, when religious differences are often minimized in favor of a vague, we're all the same attitude, Don Bosco's clear understanding of the threats to the Catholic faith reminds us how important discernment is. Don Bosco knew that good works alone were not enough. They needed to be rooted in authentic Catholic teaching. He didn't just defend against problems, he built positive alternatives through his oratories and schools that combined practical help with solid Catholic formation. Most impressively, Don Bosco did this through relationships, not necessarily confrontation. By building a network of influential friends and converts like La Margaretta, he created a powerful force for protecting and spreading the Catholic faith in Turin. Today, as we face our own challenges to Catholic identity, Don Bosco shows us how to be both watchful and creative, combining commitment to truth with genuine love for those we serve. But what part of Don Bosco's approach do you find most helpful for today's challenges? Share your thoughts in the comment section down below. I try to read all the comments that you make because they inspire me. Thank you for joining me today. St. John Bosco, pray for us. May God bless you, and Mary Immaculate keep you under her mantle. God love you.